Back-to-back wins. Who would have thought I'll be saying that this time last week? Welcome back to Where Saints Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Alex, Joe, and Elliot. So, Joe, 2 wins on the bounce. What a week!
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time in 18 months that we've actually recorded back-to-back wins. I think the last time was actually when we were back in the championship. So it's nice to actually score a few goals and yeah, get back to winning ways. So very good week, very positive.
Oh, 100%. Who would have thought this was going to happen, Elliot? Obviously, last week we had the crazy news that Will Steele got sacked, and yeah, a couple of days later, pick up a win. A couple of days later, pick up another win. It's crazy.
Yeah, what difference a week can make in football. I think it's quite a damning indictment on Will Steele, though, that as soon as he's sacked, the players suddenly put in a lot more effort. And yeah, as Joe said, get our first consecutive wins in 18 months. So yeah, absolutely delighted, though. It was so desperately needed.
Yeah, 100%. And it wasn't just the back-to-back wins. Let's start with the Sheffield Wednesday game, the game that's just gone. Alex, it was good to see Saints scoring goals again.
Yeah, it was. He played the exact same system. Well, the formation was the same as Will Still, but there was much less possession, and we don't need the ball because of our quality up front. So as soon as Sheffield Wednesday gave it away, we were able to send it directly to Cienza, Robinson, Fellows. Fellows was magnificent this week, and yeah, the chances just came and we took them. So it's almost unfair on Will Still that this was the week that we took our chances because we missed so many under him. But yeah, everything seemed to finally go our way. I mean, with the Yanda goal, their keepers had a howler there. But yeah, everything went our way. We played much better. Yeah, it was a good week.
Yeah, definitely. Let's touch on obviously the QPR game as well, Joe. Did you see similarities from that game and the game at the weekend against Sheffield Wednesday? Did you see a bit of a pattern to play?
A little bit. I mean, and when we played QPR, it was very much more keeping the ball, but at least for Sheffield Wednesday, we kind of gave it a bit of a go. But both games we came out with 3 points. So at the end of the day, it worked both times. So yeah, really happy indeed.
Yeah, it shows the character in the group. It happens time and time again, doesn't it, Elliot? A manager goes, another one. Obviously, I know it's on an interim basis, but comes in and there's a reaction. Do you think the players had something to prove?
Well, yeah. First and foremost, to prove something to themselves as professionals, because it must hurt their pride and their ego to be such awful. To be in such an awful team in the Championship, especially after, on the back of last season being one of the worst teams in Premier League history. But yeah, I think in a way, I'm kind of annoyed that they've got their way and got the manager sacked, and they're suddenly going, oh yeah, look, we can actually play well. We just didn't like the last manager. So I think a part of me thinks, it's unprofessional and they should always play for the manager regardless of who it is. But I'm obviously, delighted that they finally pulled their finger out and showed us and showed the rest of the league that there is actually quality in this squad.
Yeah, definitely. And there was a few players that obviously frozen out might be a bit of a strong word, but there was a few players that were not, let's just say, not Will Steele's favourites. And we've seen a few of them come back in now, one being Tom Fellows, who I thought had a really good week. I mean, a bit of magic for Azaz's goal on the weekend. I think it's good to see players like Tom Fellows coming back into the frame, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it is. It was so weird because Fellows was Still's winger signing, and then he decided to never play the system that suited him. But yeah, I think it says a lot about the attitude of Tom Fellows that he'll happily play at right back and right wing back and put in a really good shift. And then when he gets the ball, he is really good. I said it, actually, I posted it this week. I think he's an upgrade on Dibbling. I genuinely think he's all-round game is better than Tyler Dibbling's at the moment. Yeah, and then obviously Azaz, he suited a team with less of the ball because he could get in the half spaces. And that showed he was good this week. And then, I mean, I'm not sure about Bazunu coming back in, but he made a few good saves against Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, he did what he needed to on Saturday.
As comes up with a couple of saves. Yeah, it's interesting to see some players coming back in the frame. I mean, Jay Robinson Joe, he was also one that's come back in. He obviously started the season really strong. Then Will still just wasn't playing him, and obviously now he's come back and he's looked quite sharp.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of our more talented players, but the thing that I do worry about with him is the last time we trusted a 18-year-old to kind of carry us, it didn't end too well. But I like what I see from him, and Tonda Eckert knows him from the youth academy anyway, so, well, under 21s, so I think he'll come good, and yeah, he'll be an important part of our team.
Is there anyone else, Elliot, that you would like to see who was kind of frozen out a little bit from Will still that you'd like to see in the frame a little bit more consistently?
Yeah, I think Aribo would be nice because we know that certainly last time we were in the Championship, he was probably one of our best players that season. And also, I just love singing the Aribo chant live. So, yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I think Flynn Downs was also kind of not favoured by him. I think it was after the whole game where we lost 3-1 and he dropped Stevens, Downs, and I think Harwood Bellis possibly. Yeah, I'm glad that Flynn Downs has come back into the squad, although he's just picked up a knock, so hopefully he's not out for too long. But yeah, as Alex said, Fellows was the sort of star signing of the window, the player that Will still said we needed in order to play his best formation, and then he doesn't play him anyway. So yeah, make it make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really think of anyone else that I would like to see other than Aribo. Maybe Matsky, because we've not seen anything ever since he scored that wonder goal versus Norwich. But yeah, I think that's the beauty of the new manager. He's fresh and he can give all the players, a new chance.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get on to him. So Eckert, obviously, he's been promoted sort of to the first team manager on an interim basis for now. What have we seen? Obviously, Alex, you know him quite well from the under-21s. Was you expecting such a change of sort of change of results from him?
I wasn't expecting 6 points. I was maybe thinking more 4, but I do think that both teams we played were fairly poor, and I possibly under Will still we would have got the same results, but there was improvement under Eckert. I liked how in possession the centre backs under Will still they were so flat back, where Harwood Bellis and Stevens were pushing further forward, especially against Sheffield Wednesday. So it was just making it harder for the opposition when we had the ball. I like the quote. The Athletic released a quote that he said in the pre-match talk, and it was, he didn't say anything tactical. He just said, "Hungry eyes, I want to see hungry eyes." It says about his character. He's a bit of a madman, possibly. He's just got that motivation, and if you can just get the players who are so good playing simply, then that's your job done. And I think now for Sport Republic, they don't need to rush and make an appointment because he's clearly a good person to have in there. So they can take 2-3 weeks, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Sometimes players don't need loads of information, especially not just before the game starts. So maybe just a little quote like that gets the fire in the belly and gets them going. Joe, do we want Eckert on a full-time basis? That is the real question.
I wouldn't like to see him on a full-time basis, but I would like to have him for a few more games, as Alex said, to kind of give him a few more weeks just to kind of so we can really solidify who we want. I would prefer it not to be Russell Martin or Gary O'Neill, but anyone other than those two, and then I would kind of be happy with. But I'd much rather Sports Republic actually kind of give the time and effort to find the right person to come and manage us this time.
Okay, yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you've got to think about the place in the season that we're in. We're coming into now a 2-week break, an international break, and then we're into the busy period of the winter Christmas sort of period. So let's see what you think, Elliot. But I personally think if you're going to get a manager in, you want to get him in before the international break, or at least in the early stages of that, to give him the couple of weeks to then go into the Christmas period. Say Eckert manages the next couple of games. Then you try and introduce a manager into this busy period where it's every Tuesday, Saturday. It gets difficult. What would you say? Do you think you should give Eckert the job and let him go with it, or do you think you need to make a decision soon?
I think the risk is, as Nick, who's unfortunately not here tonight, he said earlier that the last time Sports Republic appointed a temporary manager, like that was Ruben Sayers, it went horribly wrong, didn't it? So I think there's a risk of repeating past mistakes, because we could hire him and then he suddenly loses 2-3 games and all the fans suddenly turn and it gets really ugly and toxic again. Whereas if they hire a new manager and it starts to go wrong, I think there's more credit, because you say, okay, well, he's new, he's still trying to get his system, whatever. I'm just concerned there isn't like a queue of kind of quality managers that can get us promoted. Like, I just, someone like Brendan Rodgers would be great, but does he want to drop down to this level? Gary O'Neill is a skate, so he's off the table. Yeah. Russell Martin, burnt bridges when he was last here, and the fans wouldn't accept him. Michael Carrick, maybe, but I've been told he plays a similar system to Russell Martin, and the fans are saying, we've had such horrible time with possession, passing at the back, errors leading to goal. Are we really going to be happy to see that with Carrick? I don't know. Trying to make a long story short, but I'm tempted to give Eckert a couple more games, because we might end up with like a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation where actually he kind of spurs the team on, and maybe by Christmas we're in a better position and we can consider keeping him on permanently.
That's the thing. Is it when do you make that decision? I mean, you are right. It's a little bit normally by this sort of stage. There's normally a front runner, isn't there? Where everyone's sort of you like to think, right, this is the guy who's going to be in charge. Yeah. All the betting companies all sort of pile the favourites, but right now there doesn't seem to be that. Obviously, Gary O'Neill was up there, but
he was, and then all the fans started singing F Gary O'Neill, F Gary O'Neill. So I think the owners sort of went,
they did not want to go near that.
Yeah. I think they were considering him, but after yesterday, no, I don't think they're going to touch him with a barge pole. Yeah.
So when you got things like that happening, it just makes it a more difficult situation on who to go for. I'm going to put a scenario to you, Alex. I'm going to say Eckert stays throughout the international break. You then come back. He wins his next 2 games. You're 4 games on the bounce. You've got 12 points from 12 points. Is he the guy? That's it. You're going to give him the job there and then, or if he's not, what is the name on your lips? Who are you going for?
I would say no. I think Johannes Spors has brought Eckert in to potentially one day succeed a manager, but I don't think now's the time. If I'm gonna go for anybody, apparently Carlos Corberan's close to the sack at Valencia, and it was I can't remember somebody reported it, that he's expected to be back in the Championship by the end of the month, and he'd be happy to go straight back into a job. I think that would be an incredible appointment if he came to us. Obviously, now it's difficult because Middlesbrough are looking for a manager, and so are Norwich, so we've got competition there. But I'd hope that the money talks with us and that we'll be able to pull them in. But who knows? But yeah, if I could go for anyone, I think it would be Corberan.
Okay, that's it. I mean, that is what a name that would be to get if that is possible. It's just it's interesting what you guys think in terms of Eckert and the future of the Saints job. Let's move on to the upcoming game. Obviously, it's a little bit of a break now, but let's do our predictions. We love doing our predictions here. So it's Charlton away. Charlton have had a relatively good start to the campaign. Obviously, we're now getting a little bit deeper in. There's been a few difficult results, but all in all, they've had a good start. What are we thinking, Joe? Do you think it's going to be 3 points? What we're expecting, and what is your score predictions?
I mean, it is the Nathan Jones derby, but I'm going to go for. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go for a nervy 2-1 win. I'm going to be positive this week. I'm going to go on a high.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Elliot, we'll ask you the same question, please, mate. Your predictions for Charlton away in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, the despite the 2 wins on the bounce, I don't know if I can be quite that optimistic, purely because Charlton are very good defensively. They have the second best defence in the league. We remember, don't we, firsthand what ugly, horrible football Nathan Jones can play. They'll be at the, is that home stadium, the Valley? I think that's a bit of a fortress. I'm just having a look at some stats. 4 goals conceded all season at home. So I don't know if we'll go up there and score 2. We might. I think this will be the real test for Eckert, because QPR away is a bit of a challenge, and then Sheffield Wednesday at home. You probably couldn't have asked for a nicer team to get. So I think I would be happy with a 1-1 draw, just as long as Nathan Jones doesn't have a smug smile on his face at the end of the game, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, you are right about the Valley being a fortress. I believe they have lost 1 game in the last 24. I know obviously part of that was in League One, but they've so the Valley is definitely their fortress. Alex, we'll chuck it to you as well, then, mate. Go on. What's your score predictions for Charlton away?
Yeah, well, Nathan Jones will be sleeping on this game for the whole international break. It'll be his dream to get one over us. And the Saints fans are going to come for him during the game, so he will do a knee slide down the touchline if they win. It's a tough one because they are really well organised. They won't give Saints too many chances, which is what the last 2 games have presented us. I'd agree with Elliot, and I'd go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, but still, we're looking on the unbeaten train, which is good. Right, we're now on to our feature of the A to Z of Saints, and we're on the letter F. So, Elliot, we are taking it away. Letter F for Southampton, please, mate.
Oh, it's got to be the FA Cup, May 1st, 1976. To date, it's our only major trophy, so of course it has to be on there. I know we also won the Johnson's Paint Trophy back in 2010, was it? But unfortunately not a major. But yeah, it's a day that every Saints fan, I think, remembers, because we were facing Man U in the final against all odds. Bobby Stokes slotted home the winner in the 83rd minute. So yeah, it was a moment of magic. And that, I think, actually, that was the last FA Cup final the Queen presented the trophy at. So yeah, she clearly decided she'd seen enough after she saw us win. So yeah, I think it's one of those days that kind of defines our history. So yeah, FA Cup final for me.
Oh, the FA Cup is such. I know it's kind of been a little bit watered down the last sort of few years, but I think it's such a prestigious trophy.
Yeah, Palace winning it last season. I think
massive. That definitely has helped, isn't it? And do you guys remember it was full coverage, wasn't it? You chuck on Channel 3 and it was from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night, and it was the FA Cup that's definitely one that I still think is quite prestigious for this country. Right, we are finishing on tweet of the week, and I think you boys are going to like this one. It is plain and simple, a picture of the man himself, Romeo, and it says, "I'm back." Alex, how buzzing was you of that news?
Oh yeah, great news. I mean, it's such a cop out from Sport Republic to get him in, isn't it? They've sacked the manager. Everyone's singing for them out, and they bring in Romeo, and everyone's happy again. Not a single chant of them out since. So yeah, that's a great signing. I've seen a lot of shouts for him to be captain. Which obviously it depends what the new manager wants, but what a leader he'll be. I think of times we've missed someone on the pitch trying to drive players forward. We conceded a goal, or we just scored a goal and kind of heads drop a bit, and he won't let the standards drop at all. So, and I don't think pace is a problem for him. He might have lost a bit of it, but from where he'll just be marshalling the midfield, and him alongside Shea Charles is going to be really good with Yander as well.
Yeah, so Joe, that was going to be my next question, actually. Alex, you've followed on nicely. So, Joe, do you think Romeo comes straight into the team? Is he going to be one of the names on the team sheet?
I would like to think so. Yeah. I mean, we've got the international break to kind of get him up to speed. My only issue is if we continue with a two-man midfield. I don't know really where he slots in when Charles, Yanda, and him are all fit. Maybe we play a 3, but at the moment, yeah, I don't see why he can't start, and he'll bring that real experience to a side that we really do need at the moment.
Definitely. What a signing, and I think like Alex said, it kind of definitely put a bit of a brighter feeling around the club, and then 2 back-to-back wins. I mean, it's looking good, looking positive. We will keep an eye on any managerial news over the international break. We shall see what happens, whether Eckert stays as the interim manager, whether he's given the job permanently, whether someone else comes in. We shall see, but it is looking a lot better. Thank you everybody for watching at home. Please like and subscribe. Please get involved in the comments below. Who would you like as the next Saints boss, and who is your letter F for the